Courtney, I want to learn a little bit more about conference interpreting. Have any of you all, yeah, I'll ask here in the room, have any of you ever seen videos online of conference interpreters?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's crazy. But I'm excited. If you can just give us, and there's no real question behind this, but I want us to start exposing ourselves to different opportunities. Because it isn't always, medical or legal or the areas that we're used to. What if that could be us in one of those spaces in conference interpreting? So can you tell us a little bit about what conference interpreting is, how you prepare for it, and how do they, I'm also interested to see how they check for your accuracy.
Sure. It's an exciting field. It's one that I had never even considered before, but once I became a court interpreter, one of the skills that you learn and you have to be able to do is simultaneous interpreting. And so conferences, when they need an interpreter, they look for people who have experience doing simultaneous interpretation, which is why oftentimes they look for court certified interpreters. It is, I love it because every time I go to a conference, which is not a lot, in St. Louis there aren't that many that come through that need interpreters, but it's like a whole new vocabulary, and so I usually can get some materials ahead of time and prepare a glossary or whatever I need for the conference. The way they verify my qualifications, I send a resume. They see what my certifications are, what my experience is. I have references listed on my resume. They may call those people. I would say the majority of the conferences where I have interpreted, at some point, a bilingual person who is on staff will listen in and make sure, that I'm doing a good job, so they know to hire me in the future or to not hire me in the future. So that's kind of how it works.
What type of topics of conferences have you covered?
Different ones. LAMP has done one in St. Louis, or they have sent me to conferences for labor unions, like ASME. I've done multi-level marketing companies, kind of like the pyramid companies where people sort of have their own business and then they get people in on their business. There's vitamin companies, there's beauty products, things like that. They'll do their conferences sometimes in St. Louis and they need interpreters. Trying to think what else.
Last question.
Yes.
What is it? Can you describe how you would do it at a conference?
Yes. So basically there's a booth. There's a booth. The ideal situation is an actual booth with a headset, and you have the audio feed directly from the presenter, from their microphone. And I would have my headset on and my microphone. And it may sound difficult, but once you learn how to do it, you can kind of pick it up. And it's not, if I were to be in a room of people talking and I was supposed to just simultaneously interpret what someone was saying, it would be very difficult. But when you have the audio feed in your ear, it's much easier to do. And then you're just interpreting what you hear.
Kind of like what you see in movies with the UN.
Right. Kind of like movies with the UN is what we heard.
Yes.
We're here in the room. Yes. Okay. Awesome.
I've done simultaneous interpreting a few years ago, and it was very, very intense because I wasn't in a booth. I was actually sitting right next to the person. I had
Whispering
two
in their
people. Yep, whispering in their ear. That's exactly what it was. And it was I think it was about 3 or 4 days, but it was 8 hours a day. It was 8 hours a day.
Memory retention. I mean,
Oh
there's
my
skills. I
gosh.
mean, we won't
And
get too
there's
much of that, but
training
there's
too.
all of these
And there is
trainings.
a track too.
Yeah.